water-based ink, you have to ensure that you're selecting the right emulsion, for your mesh coating. So another thing about water-based ink is that they are very easy to work with because they are soft, so you can easily flood them on your mesh and then print. Hi, I am Ogubanjo Ayokunle Emmanuel. It's my pleasure to have you on my YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll be looking at the different type of ink used for fabric screen printing. Alright, so basically our ink for fabrics during screen printing is categorized into three, although we'll be focusing more on two, but then there are three. The number one is Plaster, so we have number two to be water-based ink, and the third one is the discharge ink. All right, I don't have enough information on discharge ink. In fact, I've not used any before, so I really do not have, but still making my underground research. If I have enough information on that, I will definitely put it out there for you guys. So but for today's video, we will be focusing on water-based ink and Plaster. So all right, so let's start with water-based ink. Water-based ink, just like the name implies, are ink you use in printing your fabrics, but then you can mix with water. Just like you mix your liner ink with retarder, yes, you can also mix your water-based fabric ink with water and then use them to print on your t-shirts. And what are the qualities of this water-based ink? Number one is they are very transparent. They are transparent in the sense that anytime you print with a water-based ink, they soak into your fabrics and makes it look like the design or what you print on the fabrics is part of the fabrics. All right, a sample is this. All right, this is a t-shirt we brand during my youth service. Now if you can look closely, you will see that the printing is as though it is part of the cloth. Also, another thing about water-based ink is that they are very easy to work with because they are soft, so you can easily flood them on your mesh and then print. Unlike Plaster, so Plaster so has a very thick texture, so you might have to put in more energy to flood your screen so that your print will come out sharp and good. All right, but with a water-based ink, you can easily flood your mesh and then you print easily. And another thing is that, to me, this is my own personal perspective now, or my own personal opinion, is that the water-based ink lasts longer on your t-shirt compared to Plaster. So all right, I know a lot of people want to argue with this, but this is my own personal conviction. All right, because when you are printing with water-based ink, it goes directly to the surface of your fabrics. You are making it part of your fabrics, you understand, and then you can use it over time and over time again. You can iron it and nothing will happen to it, unlike Plaster. So if you print on plasters with Plaster so on your fabrics, you don't want to iron that side, because when you begin to iron it, the ink starts to peel off, and with time it fade away. Do you understand? So this is my own reason why I believe that water-based ink are actually last longer on fabrics compared to Plaster. So all right, another thing about water-based ink is that it requires less stress. I mean, when you print with water-based ink, your clothes just dry up naturally on your fabrics. You don't need to look for heat press or any form of heat to dry it up for it to dry. No, it just print on it and you keep it one side and then it dry up naturally. All right, on the other end, we have the disadvantages of water-based ink. All right, so number one is, especially if you are not really familiar, or you are not good with exposing your mesh or selecting the right type of emulsion for your mesh coating, then you might have an issue, especially if you are printing a large quantity of clothes using water-based ink. Now, why am I saying this is that it is water-based ink. Like I said, you can mix it with water, and when you mix it with water and you are printing on your mesh, you coat your mesh with emulsion, and with time, if the water keep penetrating into your emulsion will melt and break, and from that point there will be stains on your fabrics over the time. You understand? So while working with an water-based ink, you have to ensure that you're selecting the right emulsion, for your mesh coating. All right. That being said, another thing to my own, you know, observation is like, water-based ink printing are not really, they are averagely, the finishing now, they have an average look, unlike plaster. So when you print with plaster, so you have this glossy, feel on your fabrics and all of that. You understand? So that on water-based ink. So let's go to the next one, which is plaster. So the second type of ink we'll be talking about is the plaster. So now, compared to the water-based ink, the plaster ink are very thick and versatile in nature, yes, and which require more energy compared to working with water-based ink. When you want to flood your mesh, even printing of your mesh, you have to exert a little more energy compared to when you're printing with a water-based ink, yes. And also, one of the advantage of plaster is that they stay long on your mesh. Yes, they stay long on your mesh compared to water-based ink. Water-based ink dry up quickly, so if you are working with a lot of clothes and you are not fast enough, you might have to clean your mesh over and over again. But plaster can stay longer on your mesh without drying up. Let me show you something. I printed this t-shirt about last year. It's over a month ago. Now. You can see the date on it, December 4. All right, I printed this mesh, and this is the mesh I used in printing it. And trust me, let me see. I did not just put the ink there. It has been there since last year, before December. So I don't remember the exact date I printed it, but I've printed it for long. But you can see that my ink is still very, very wet on my screen. So this is one of the advantage of plaster. So why printing with plaster? So you don't really have to worry about your mesh get blocking and all, because the ink can actually stay for a longer period of time. All you just need to do is just to put in more energy in flooding your mesh and in printing. You understand? So your ink will still be there. All right. So and lastly, plaster has this low gloss flat finish look. You understand? Like when you print with plaster, it looks glossy, kind of. You can feel it. You can feel the texture on your fabrics. It will be like a gloss. You understand? But that being said, there are also some disadvantages of plaster, which is number one, when you are printing with plaster, aside from the fact that you have to exert more energy, number two is you have to dry it up, because when you print with plaster, if you like keep it for days, it will still not get dry until you heat it up. Yes, so you might have, and during the process of eating, if you are not a pro, you might actually end up running your print. Yes, because if you are not an expert in it, especially if you are not working with heat press, if you are working with heat press, it's more easier. You just put it and then you put your heat press on it. But if you are working with a Teflon and pressing iron, for example, if you are not careful, you might actually damage your print on your fabrics. So that is one of the disadvantages of plaster. So it doesn't dry. You have to heat it up for it to dry. And also, one of the disadvantages, now this is my own personal opinion, all right, is that it doesn't last longer compared to water-based ink, because water-based ink will sink directly into your fabrics. Do you understand? But plaster will be on your fabrics. You can even feel it. You understand? You can touch it. You can feel it. And why I said it doesn't last long is that, now for someone like me, I love to iron my shirt very well. If you are ironing the surface of your t-shirts that you print with plaster, so the same heat that help you dry it will still be the same heat to put it off. Now if you can look closely to the camera, look at where I have this redeem. There's a time I'm trying to iron this t-shirt. I just skip my mind for a bit that I brand with plaster. So as I just put my pressing iron, the ink just come off like that. You understand? And if this continue on a regular basis, then with time everything will just wash away and all. But aside that, so my suggestion to you is that when you have a shirt printed with plaster, so just turn your shirt inward. If you want to iron now, turn it inward and iron. That will help you preserve your printing on your t-shirt for a long time. All right, I think that will be all for today's video. If you still have further questions, you can do it to ask in the comment section. And yes, before I go, please do well to subscribe to this channel. My analysis made me understand that over 80% of people watching this video are not subscribers. So please do well. That's the own little way of encouraging me. Your subscription, like, and comment goes a long way to help me do more on this channel. So that will be all for today. See you in the next video. Bye.